The power of intuition is often dismissed or misunderstood, but it is one of the most potent tools we have to navigate the complexities of human relationships. It's that quiet, almost imperceptible feeling that tells you something isn't quite right before your mind can logically process it. Intuition doesn't rely on facts or evidence. It's your body's way of recognizing patterns, picking up on subtle cues, and alerting you when danger or deceit is nearby. Trusting your intuition requires you to listen to the unspoken signals that others give off, whether it's a tone of voice, a slight change in demeanor, or a gut reaction to someone's behavior. When you ignore these feelings, you risk stepping into situations that can erode your well-being and undermine your peace. Often we question or doubt our intuition because we've been conditioned to rely on logic and external validation. But the truth is, your intuition holds knowledge you haven't yet consciously acknowledged. It's an internal compass that has been fine-tuned through experience, emotional awareness, and even your own instincts for survival. When you're in the presence of someone who is not aligned with your values or is operating with harmful intent, your body and mind pick up on the signs long before your rational thoughts catch up. Trusting your intuition isn't about being paranoid. It's about respecting your inner wisdom and giving yourself permission to act on it, even when it doesn't make sense at first. Charm can be one of the most disarming tools in a toxic person's arsenal. At first glance, they seem warm, engaging, and full of charisma, drawing you in with their charm as if they genuinely care about you and your needs. They have an uncanny ability to make you feel special, seen, and valued. This initial allure is not a sign of genuine connection, though it's a calculated maneuver to lower your defenses. They use charm not to build trust or mutual respect, but to gain your compliance and control. It becomes a subtle form of manipulation, designed to make you feel indebted to them or obligated to fulfill their desires, even if it costs you your own well-being. This type of charm is often fleeting, masking deeper, more sinister intentions. When their goal is accomplished and their hold on you is solidified, the charm begins to fade, replaced by demands or manipulative behaviors. The truth behind their charm reveals itself slowly in the way they start to make you feel small or less than once they've secured their position in your life. You may find yourself doubting your instincts, wondering how you ever missed the shift. This is the insidious power of charm. It's not about connection, it's about control, using charm as a way to gain entry into your life and manipulate you for their own gain. Gaslighting is a form of emotional manipulation where a toxic person distorts your perception of reality, causing you to doubt your own thoughts, feelings, and memories. It often starts with subtle comments or small inconsistencies that seem harmless at first, but over time they begin to erode your confidence. A gaslighter will dismiss your experiences, telling you that you're overreacting, misremembering, or imagining things. This insidious behavior chips away at your trust in yourself, making you second-guess your reality and feel unsure of what is true. The gaslighter's goal is to destabilize you, creating a situation where you're no longer certain of your own mind. The consequences of gaslighting are profound. It often leads to confusion, anxiety, and self-doubt as you begin to question whether your feelings or reactions are valid. This continuous emotional manipulation creates a power imbalance where the gaslighter holds control over your perception of the truth. It's a slow, suffocating process that leaves you feeling emotionally exhausted, constantly trying to reconcile what you know in your heart with the contradictory messages you're being fed. The more gaslighting occurs, the more it isolates you from your own sense of self, leaving you vulnerable to further manipulation and control. A lack of empathy is one of the clearest signs of a toxic person, and it manifests in many ways. These individuals are unable or unwilling to understand or share in the feelings of others. They may dismiss your pain, belittle your struggles, or offer hollow responses that show no real understanding of what you're going through. Empathy requires vulnerability, the ability to open up to another person's emotions and see the world through their eyes. For a person lacking empathy, vulnerability is a threat, so they avoid it at all costs. Instead of offering compassion or a listening ear, they often make judgments, criticize, or minimize your experience, making you feel as though your emotions are unimportant or invalid. This absence of empathy can be incredibly damaging, as it often leads to further emotional harm and isolation. When you're dealing with someone who doesn't empathize, you may find yourself constantly trying to explain your feelings or defend your emotional responses, only to be met with rejection or ridicule. They may even exploit your vulnerability for their own gain, using your openness against you to manipulate or control. Without empathy, there is no true connection, only transactional interactions designed to fulfill their needs at the expense of yours. The absence of this fundamental human quality leaves a void that can leave you feeling unseen, unheard, and emotionally drained. Blame shifting is a classic tactic used by toxic individuals to avoid responsibility and manipulate others into feeling guilty for situations that are not their fault. Instead of owning up to their actions, they deflect accountability by shifting the blame onto someone else, often accusing others of things they themselves are guilty of. This creates a distorted reality where you constantly feel as though you're the one in the wrong, even when you haven't done anything to deserve that treatment. The toxic person will twist the facts, exaggerate, or outright lie to make you believe that the problem lies with you, not with their actions. This shift in blame undermines your confidence and can leave you feeling helpless and confused. Excuses are another powerful tool in the toxic person's repertoire. Rather than owning up to mistakes or failures, they will make endless excuses, explaining away their behavior with a long list of justifications. These excuses may range from blaming external circumstances to citing personal hardships that supposedly prevent them from acting with integrity. The goal is to avoid any real change or growth, ensuring that they are never held accountable for their actions. This cycle of blame and excuse-making can make you feel like you're constantly cleaning up after them, apologizing for things you didn't do, and taking on the emotional burden of their inability to take responsibility. A double life is often one of the most dangerous signs of a toxic person, as it reveals a fundamental lack of authenticity and integrity. These individuals craft separate personas, one for the people they want to impress or control, and another for their true selves or the people they secretly manipulate. In one setting, they may appear to be kind, trustworthy, and considerate, while in another they are deceitful, selfish, or even malicious. The disconnect between their words and actions becomes apparent over time as you begin to see inconsistencies in their stories, behaviors, or allegiances. This duplicity creates confusion, as you're never entirely sure who the real person is, and it keeps you constantly on edge, wondering which version of them you're dealing with. Deception is a cornerstone of this double life. It's not just about telling lies, it's about weaving an elaborate web of half-truths, omissions, and manipulations designed to create a false reality. They may lie to your face, mislead you about their intentions, or manipulate the truth to suit their needs. Deceptive behaviors are often subtle at first, but over time, they accumulate, leaving a trail of broken trust and emotional wreckage. When a toxic person is skilled at deception, they can convince you to believe almost anything, all while keeping their true motivations hidden behind a veil of charm or feigned innocence. The more you uncover, the clearer it becomes that their entire existence is built on falsehoods, and the trust you once had in them becomes increasingly fragile. Sabotaging connections is a manipulative tactic often used by toxic individuals to isolate you and weaken your support system. These people thrive on control, and they know that if they can sever your relationships with others, they'll have more power over you. They may try to sow seeds of doubt in your mind about your friends, family, or colleagues, suggesting that they don't have your best interests at heart or that they're somehow unreliable. This creates tension between you and the people who care about you, making it harder for you to turn to them for help or validation. Over time, this subtle erosion of your connections can leave you feeling alone, vulnerable, and dependent on the toxic person for emotional support. In some cases, toxic individuals may even manipulate the people around you directly, planting negative ideas or stirring up drama to cause rifts between you and your loved ones. They may criticize, gossip, or spread lies about those close to you in an effort to create division. They feed off the isolation they cause as it increases their ability to control your thoughts, emotions, and actions. The more they succeed in pulling you away from others, the less likely you are to receive perspective or emotional support, and the more dependent you become on their approval and presence. This cycle not only damages your relationships, but also weakens your sense of self-worth as you start to rely solely on the toxic person for validation and connection. The cost of silence is often far greater than we realize, especially when it comes to tolerating toxic behavior. Remaining quiet in the face of manipulation, deceit, or mistreatment allows the toxic person to thrive unchecked. Silence may seem like a safe option in the moment, as it avoids conflict or discomfort, but it only serves to perpetuate the harmful dynamics. When we stay silent, we inadvertently signal that the behavior is acceptable, giving the toxic individual more power to continue their harmful actions without consequence. Over time, this silence erodes your self-worth, as you begin to feel powerless to stand up for yourself or create boundaries. Furthermore, silence silences your truth. It makes you feel small, as if your voice doesn't matter or your feelings are unworthy of expression. By not speaking out, you rob yourself of the opportunity to assert your needs and protect your well-being. This internalized silence creates emotional distance between you and your authenticity. You become complicit in your own suffering, making it harder to break free from toxic situations or people. Silence can feel like a temporary shield, but in reality, it costs you your peace, your agency, and your sense of self-respect.